there is a power in a word to influence history, and that is the case in the Holy Room of St. Benedict. The words that he was inspired by the Holy Ghost to put on paper have influenced society, culture and history ever since they were written. And hence it is that in 1964 he was proclaimed patron of Europe. Hence also it is that Joseph Ratzinger took the name of Benedict, aware of the inseparability of faith and culture. We owe even the transmission of classical learning and works to the patient work of the monks in their scriptoria. But what they did was done in a cadence of unhurried effort, punctuated by the bell, the Opus Dei, the work of God, to which nothing was to be preferred. And there is a beauty about the monastic bell. Benedictines were able to act upon society, for they also educated thousands and thousands of young men, and also women, of course. In Britain, they still had a huge influence over the Catholic Church. Our own parish was a parish run by Benedictines, from Ampleforth essentially, and one from Buckfast. And the abbot of the house on which it depended was, of course, Basil Hume, later to be head of the whole English Church. And they sent me up there when I was 17 for Holy Week, and that was an experience, a massive community, a liturgy worthy of heaven. But I was impressed by the big, huge bell that would call and call and call. Back to base, back to base. And those early hours of prayer were also interesting. The 5 o'clock rise and the early hours of prayer and quiet masses and chant, meditation and contemplation was all an atmosphere which had a huge influence. Serenity. Years later, a word, also on paper, had a huge effect. It was when things were becoming a bit unstuck in 1995 that this letter came from the prior of Sant'Antimo, and in it he said one thing which has never left me. Cela, that is the calling back to base for the divine office done with majesty and glory. Cela donne une grande sérénité. That gives a great serenity. And I understood that therefore to be a priest in an atmosphere of that nature had a density and a depth which a priest just on his own in the diocese wouldn't easily have. There was a structure of defense, an invitation to belong exclusively at certain times to the other dimension without interruption, and to give physical glory to that dimension. A total consecration of the being on every level, with high beauty for the High King upon earth. And our community actually was able to do it because of the young voices. It was a very young community. Praise. And so it is that the whole thrust of the world created by Benedict was for the greater glory of God, and maiorem Dei gloriam. And there was no absolute distinction or division. It was all prayer, and hence the silence pervading the work. Ora et labora. He wanted them to go calmly into choir and to come calmly out, a dovetailing in and out of maximal majesty. Silence is the language of the interior soul. I was sent more than once to nearby Monte Oliveto for retreats. One time I was reflecting on the opening word of the ruin, ausculta, listen. It was a whole program of life, and the interior heart has to be open to the interior master and guest. Ausculta. To listen is to look upon the soul, to look and see, to gaze and softly gaze, to hold a morsel and behold the whole, whereof 'tis made. For oft the part betrays the heart that bid it be. We are all seen in this our naked walking in a word, and in a sound is found where we have been. For what was heard was ne'er again unheard. Yet there is blindness in this little eye that could behold the world, and there is more that travels in the air than ear did spy. For much did tap in vain at this clapped door. There is a secret in the universe, yet few lips paused its lesson to rehearse. And so I thought that listening operates on two levels. As with God, we pick up His word when we let Him speak. So too with man, we pick up his soul when we let him speak. And indeed, heading for ordination, it was important to understand that one could not genuinely help another soul if one wasn't in charge of one's own lips and able to command them to be still. Silence is the secret both of the interior life and of communion of soul. with others. Silence. There is a hermitage upon the earth, not made of brick or stone, nor of a seal to bar a man from man. There is a hearth, a shelter from the blast, that none may feel, save such as there abide. A place to hide, made of no matter dense, made full of naught, made of a little space, not very wide, yet locked by one great key, all finely wrought. There is, I do perceive, a place to be, alone, forever, and all alone, where none again may roam, where none may see the inmate of a cell, whose only stone is made of will's command, that all may stand apart from but a magic of a land. O Master, who has trod before this ancient pathway trod of yore, the silent feet of many more, thou still dost guide us, thou still dost guide us. And when the tears of many years, the secrets kept from mortal ears, are known again where thy word steers, thou still art listening, thou still art listening. For thou dost know this solitude, that held the unknown beatitude, beheld and held in quietude, and still dost ponder, and still dost ponder. For thou didst call and calling heard the distant echo of this word, call on and call till nothing stirred, in dying wonder, in dying wonder. Yet would at times a something move, where now thou art, where ancient love burns still and whisper from above, faint not, we conquer. Faint not, we conquer.